Welcome to the complete collection of Kevin McHale's greatest stories told by NBA players and legends. If you have missed any of the other episodes within the series, there's a playlist link on the top right of your screen and in the description box down below, and if you click on that link you'll find all the episodes within the series. Comment down below which player you would like to see next, and if you do enjoy these videos, they do take me a long time to edit, so I'd really appreciate all the support. If you do enjoy, please leave a like. Let's aim for 1,000 likes for the next episode. Subscribe if you are new, and hit that notification button so you're notified when a new episode releases. I won't keep you waiting. Without further ado, here's the complete collection of Kevin McHale's greatest stories.
His creative imagination, his skill set, his footwork, his touch, his shooting, and then his trash talking. It was just absolutely incredible.
I mean, with the footwork, the soft touch around the rim, the hook shot, he had it all in his bag. Also, he had long arms. As a matter of fact, if I had his arms, I could shake your hand from sitting in this chair. He grew to be 6'10", and when you put that combination together, it was lethal. Low post plays, step back, 15-foot jump shot. Charles Barkley said he was the toughest guy he ever had to play in the NBA.
The great Charles Barkley was once asked, who was the toughest player he ever had to guard?
Who was the guy that you knew you were going to have you couldn't wait to face?
You know, I will tell you this. I hated Kevin McHale because he's the best player I ever played against.
Yeah, Charles constantly reminds us who was his toughest competition when it comes, and the answer is always Kevin McHale.
Kevin McHale's the best player I ever played against. My personal nemesis is Kevin McHale.
I'm telling you, you kids just don't know how good Kevin McHale was.
Because he's the best player I ever played against. You could not stop him.
He was the one guy who was so much bigger than me with his long arms and his great moves. I had a difficult time guarding him. And then on the other end, he was so long. He was so long. It was tough for me to get my shot off if I had to face him up.
6'10" and blessed with arms so long that people often joked he could tie his shoes without bending over. He had every post move in the book. The jump hook, the up and under, the reverse lay-in, the fade away. McHale was simply unstoppable on the block, so much so that in the 1986-87 season, he averaged 26 points a game while shooting 60% from the floor and 80% from the line. You know how many NBA players have averaged 20 or more points, shot 60% from the floor and 80% from the stripe in the same season? One, Kevin McHale.
And on the other end, I had to use every ounce of energy I did to score on him. That guy, when I looked at, because we all look at the schedule, we're like, okay, I can have some fun that night. Better get a good night's sleep that night. I mean, we all say the same thing about different guys, but Kevin McHale is the best player I played against.
When we talk about the top power forwards to ever play the game, the same names get mentioned: Duncan, Barkley, Malone, Nowitzki, Garnett. But there's one name that's too often left off the list. The name of a guy who routinely gave some of the greatest to ever lace him up, the business.
I have no idea why, because he wasn't very athletic, but for some reason, he knew all the little tricks, and he drove me crazy when I played against him. He kicked my butt more probably than any player that I played against.
Well, you probably wanted Bird to guard you, didn't you?
Oh, Larry Bird didn't want any of this. Come on, brother. Hey, he's Larry Legend, but not on the defensive end.
You probably didn't want any piece of that with his offense, though.
He was great. But like I say, in my day, I mean, it was a challenge to play against him. I mean, nobody's going to stop a great player. Yeah. But listen, I'd rather play against him than Kevin McHale. Because Kevin was just so much bigger than me with those long arms. And Kevin, to this day, other than Tim Duncan, had the best low post moves of any power forward to ever play the game.
Because he was unstoppable offensively, and he gave me nightmares on defense.
As I was growing up, when we was playing against the Celtics would come in and, they knew they was going to beat us no matter how we start the game.
In Chicago, the Celts against the Bulls. Kevin McHale, look at this great pass to Robert Parrish. McHale himself had 31 points on the night. He said he was so sure that they were going to beat the Bulls, he said he didn't even bring a change of clothes.
They just knew we were going to fold and they were going to come back and beat us. Kevin McHale would talk more trash than anybody you've ever seen, and Bird as well. But they knew they were going to win.
As we go to break, a little trash talking. What did you used to tell people in Game 7 or in closeout games when they were in
I don't
Boston?
even want to hear it. I used to tell them all the time. I said, look, now, when we get done tonight, just shut off the lights. Because you know what? This game's over. I said, when the closeout game, I used to always tell Johnny Lucas, I said, John, you know where the lights are in this place? First time, he said, what for? I said, because, we're getting ready to shut the lights off on this place. So you tell them before the game.
I got one of those, right? Closeout game. I'm going up. It's about maybe 5 seconds to go in the game. I go up to shoot. McHale goes, all right, that is your last shot of the season. I hope you make it.
Some of the greatest feat ever in NBA history when you're talking about signature moves, Kevin McHale and the Dream Shake, Hakeem Olajuwon.
I think they're the two best. They're two, and I played many years against both of those guys. And Kevin McHale, it got to the point where they were calling him a man of 1,000 moves. Could not guard him one-on-one on the box because he had such great footwork, and he did a great job of feeling the contact. And once he felt you, you were done. If the double team didn't come right away, forget about it. He had too much stuff on the box.
But that's what I love about the league is that no matter what level you're on, when you get to this league, first of all, you're going to be happy that the NBA players are fans of you and they encourage you. The players are, and they want you to get better. But you also have to learn. Everything you know, throw that out the window and get better because guys have different moves that can come.
I tell you, Kevin got this bad reputation as being the black hole and, never passing the ball out. I mean, do you think maybe you guys were a little unfair to him? I mean, maybe you guys were never open.
Well, Kevin's philosophy was, why should he pass the ball out when he's shooting 60, 65%? Also, they talk about Kevin intelligence on the court. One thing I like about Kevin, he's a very smart player. He never set a pick. The reason why he didn't set a pick, because the guy that came off him had to pass it inside. So Kevin knew he was going to get a shot.
The one thing about Kevin, I'm sure you guys will attest to this, I have never seen him at all fail when the game was on the line in the clutch. This guy was cool as a cucumber, a stone of granite. Wouldn't you say, Larry? I mean, he never failed.
No question about it. Kevin was so calm. You always hear Kevin talking about after the game, he forgets about that game. He goes with his family, which he does. And, that game's history. Let's get on the next game. But in Game 2 in 1984, we lost the first game. Gerald steals the ball. There's about 20 seconds to go in the game, and Kevin's at the free throw line. We're down by 2, and he's so calm. And I just couldn't believe what happened after that.
Let's go to it. Let's go to the videotape.
I think there's 20 seconds left. Well, there's 30-some, but Kevin gets fouled and has to go to the free throw line, and he's got 2 shots. We're down by 2, and everybody's thinking, well, at least he'll make one and something will happen. But, the players always stand together and say he's going to hit both of them. So here he is. He's getting ready to go line. You can tell right now that he's a little shook up about it because he's looking at somebody else to see if the referee's going to put them on the line. So he walks over to their bench, gets his towel. He looks real calm at this point. He walks to the free throw line, and he's talking. He's having a good time. He knows we're down by 2 points, and this is probably the biggest game of all of our lives. Cedric comes in. He looks happy. See, right now he's 7 for 8 from the line. He must have got fouled on the one he missed. But look, the one thing you got to watch is his knees. It's so important to go to the free throw line with a lot of courage and a lot of confidence, but watch Kevin's knees. Don't watch him shoot the free throw. Just focus on his knees. He's calm. He's cool. And he knows he's going to make this. Follow his knees.
That one felt long from the minute it went. Oh, no. That was bad. Those guys love that, man. I tell you what, Casey, here's my buddy Casey. We're playing the next year, and all of a sudden we're having a film session. Casey goes, I got to show you guys something. He played that about 30 times. I said, come on, man, Casey, you're killing me.
Gerald, I was talking with Gerald earlier. He mentioned that he wanted me to say thanks for making him famous. If you hadn't missed those 2 free throws in '84, that still wouldn't have mattered.
You know, once upon a time, Sam Jones had the Celtics franchise record for points in a game. And then Larry Bird eclipsed that. And then Kevin McHale actually eclipsed Larry Bird's franchise scoring record.
Kevin McHale, before he had the 56, did you look at him as a guy who could absolutely dominate a game? Or was he a guy that was really good, but really you can't count on him to get you a 50-point ball game?
3-on-2. Kevin got it. McHale's got 2. No, yes. All right spot. 2. Any traffic, too, wasn't it? Finds Kevin. Short. With what got him here. And he 2-tap. McHale. To McHale. Got it! 54 for McHale. And Kevin McHale's coming out.
Towards the end of the game, Larry came up to me and said, I said, I'm going to come out. It was 1.5 or 2 minutes ago in the game. Larry said, were you crazy? I said, I'm had enough, man. We're ahead. And he goes, if I get that hot, I'm not stopping. Well, 9 days later, he got that hot. I said, you stopping? He said, no, I'm not stopping.
You were playing the Hawks, and it was one of those times they were playing some home games down in New Orleans.
Yep.
And, I mean, everybody was entertained by this. Even
the
guys on the guys on the Atlanta bench.
They got fined for that, I heard.
Yeah.
Watch the reactions on the Atlanta bench. You see Scotty Hastings with them.
Laughing. Yeah, when you get
watch Cliff Livingston over here. I think this is Cliff.
Yeah, right there he told me. Right there he looked at me and said, I told you I wasn't stopping.
You know, Cedric Maxwell had been playing a lot. Kevin obviously moved into that starting position.
Yeah, Kevin McHale was saying, I was right in this corner, and I'm looking at him score. You know, I guess it was a time when I got hurt and I saw him score 56 points, and I'm thinking, I need a new damn address right now. It don't look like I'm going to be playing no more.
Kevin, with his length, with his footwork, supreme confidence in his ability not only to knock down the 14, 15-footer, one dribble to a spot, one dribble to the rim, up and under. He had all of that game. And Larry had great confidence in him. I mean, Larry would specifically, when we ran the offense, if you threw it to Larry and it was, Larry come off a pin down on Kevin, he wouldn't come off looking to shoot. Brian, that's an indication that if you got a guy that's in position to score, you throw him the ball. And that's what Larry did with him. So we knew he was capable of scoring. I didn't see the 56 points coming. I will not tell that to you. Playing, when you've got a guy that you got your number one player has confidence in, then you got a guy that could play.
Kevin McHale is a Hall of Fame player. Compare him to a guy nowadays. It feels like his style of play is like a lost art form now.
It is. No, I don't think there's any doubt about it. First of all, you don't see post up. You and I see you all the time. Matter of fact, last time we were talking about it, we saw each other. It was the last game, respectively, that both teams played. But no, you don't see Kevin's game anymore because guys they don't post up to try to get to position. He just kind of, with that length, just faced you, walked you down, and then he could get it off the block a couple dribbles and still be able to get himself in position to get a shot that you've had a hard time challenging. You don't see anybody in a game like that today.
Two guys who were great in the low post, and obviously one was a mentor to the other, McHale being to Garnett. Right. How prevalent will the low post game be in the next 5 years? We see all the stretch fours, and we talk about it all the time, but here are two guys. The skill was magnificent over the power. So what do you two guys think that's going to happen in the next 5 years?
We kind of talked about the evolution of the post, and it coming from, Wilt and, Elvin Hayes and that's, just when you think about the post, it being a big man, before you had Wilt, Shaq, strong guys being grit, then you see another style of post, the Kevin McHale to Jack Sigmas to Charles Barkley's, using pump fakes from not just verticals, but at angles, using the backboard, up and unders and stuff like that to where you get to, my class, and we was more face-up shooters, being able to put the ball on the floor, took a finesse kind of approach to it. And it kind of really birthed myself, Chris Bosh, even Dirk Nowitzki, guys Tim Duncan you can throw in there that kind of shaped us to what we are.
KG in his prime versus McHale in his prime. Would win.
I'm going to give it to Mac. Mac's shoulders. Mac is unguardable. Mac had to be double team, triple team. He taught me. It's only right.
That's a great question, though,
I'm going to pay homage.
That's not a great question. They're both great, but Kevin McHale's the best player out of the
Nice
play.
feet work, Kevin. Because you're the best player you played against don't mean it's not the best player. Kevin Garnett's not the look at this. Look at the best player somebody else played.
Come on, man. This guy's the best player I played against.
I'm not saying that it doesn't mean that Kevin Garnett didn't have all of this. All of this too. Oh, goodness.
Hard to guard that.
Give me that. Give me that.
What you doing, Sam?
There you go.
Right. Hold on.
Take that, we're all
Dream shake,
bro. What's he doing guarding you?
Watch out, Irv. Stay out this business.
Big Irv
Stay
got
out this
some of that.
business, man. Stay out this business.
It's not as clear cut as you think.
Ain't no man. Listen, I ain't worried about no man who wears skinny jeans.
It always goes back to that.
Hey, Chuck.
Hey, Happy New Year, KG.
One leg at a time, Chuck. One leg at a time.
Storied history of tremendous rivalry in professional basketball takes on a new chapter.
The Philadelphia 76ers versus the Boston Celtics.
He was a tremendous opponent to have, too, with those big square shoulders and, as awkward as he might have seemed sometimes on the court, he always knew where he was going and he knew what he was doing. And he was probably the most feared guy in Boston by the 76ers.
Another Boston-Philadelphia classic.
I was excited every time we played against you guys, and I loved the challenge of guarding you, but I liked guarding.
You get out there, you have this wingspan. I said, I might as well just take a jump shot. He's all the way down here.
Julius blocked by McHale.
I knew if I beat Bird or Maxwell, McHale was going to be there. Kevin wasn't afraid to take a shot at you. He was a critical piece to the puzzle. And there were many nights when he was the MVP in Boston.
Each and every time I walked in the Boston Garden, I knew I had to be at my best.
People think that you keep these grudges your whole life. Man, we played hard, Doc, and we got after it, and I was doing everything I could to beat you. It was a fierce rivalry, but at the end, like I say, a lot of those old wounds, they kind of fade over.
So one night we're playing against the Celtics, and McHale really has it going. And he's torching, our power forwards, Kent Benson.
Now, you played with Kent Benson. He was a former #1 pick. He's on the Pistons, and McHale is working him.
And finally, he started saying he's got these guys in the torture chamber.
I know when I talk to my friends that get worked by my current teammates, I lay into them. Were you laying into Kent Benson a little bit?
I didn't lay into Kent because I knew it was more than Kent could handle, quite frankly. You have to kind of know your personality. Kent played on our championship team and when I was out of college, but he also Larry had come to visit Indiana University, decided to go to Indiana State, and frankly, I'm not sure Kent gave the respect to Larry that Larry deserved when Larry came. Larry always intended to play really well against Kent Benson. And now Kevin's got it. Kevin knows about Larry's intent. And if you know Kevin's personality, like all of us, we all want to be liked, loved, whatever that's about. He wants to make sure he maintains Larry's respect. So Larry is feeding him the ball so he can give it to Kent Benson. Kent was overmatched. There's just not any question about it.
Kevin McHale taught me more about basketball, I would say, than any big man coach. The way he would move his body, lean. You ever see it looks like his body is halfway leaned over and halfway down, but his head is up here. It's just a weird look.
So every time they would enter the basketball into him, he would holler, chamber, like, he got him in a torture chamber, and, it's too late. So I was coming back to double team, and he was looking down at me shooting like, you're too late, there's nothing you can do about this.
And how he would spin, catch you, make you go up, lean under you, get under you, make you foul. Once he caught the ball, you were at his mercy. So, the best.
Kent was a guy that probably was more of a shooting center than he was playing power forward. At any rate, Kevin went to work on him, and there wasn't a thing Kent could do about it. And I don't tease Kent about that. I think he got enough that day. He doesn't need any more teasing about that.
You know, Kevin is one of those guys who can really get under your skin at times.
But when practice sessions were completed, some of the most competitive competition began.
Double dribble! No! Done! No! I double dribble! Double dribble! He did too! I didn't. That's all I'm telling you. I did try it. I didn't do it. It's easy to play when you like this. No, it was. That's a hell of a move. I didn't do it. Because when I went to get it with this hand came out. Oh, get out of here. You double dribbled the ball. No, I didn't. Quick try. I'll take the defense. I'm good. I stole your brainwave last time. You cheated. I control you. Look at this.
Practical joker, makes fun, real tease. Man, I'm glad when Bill Walton showed up. Because Kevin got off my case and couldn't wait to get a hold of Bill. Kevin taught me a lot about the game. And one thing in particular is he really taught me how to deal with the media. Just lie.
As the playoffs go on, Ray's tape jobs get tighter and tighter. By the last game, your foot is like in a spastic state, but you're really ready to play because it hurts so much you want to kill people. That was one of the reasons I collared Kurt Rambis. My foot hurt so bad, I couldn't help it. Kurt, I'm just kidding, babe.
Sometimes playing against a person, you appreciate him even more. And when, as I traveled and played with a few different teams against Kevin, and we'd go through the scouting report and we'd walk through how we're going to defend him, you know, I'd hear coaches say things like, you know, fake the double team, wait till he puts it on the floor. All the coaching terminologies of how you defend him, and I'd always have to step in and say, no, wait a minute. Kevin had this philosophy that if you double teamed him, he thought you could get 4 points if he scored. He used to tell me all the time, I'd say, Kevin, my man is right on you. I'm wide open. My man's guarding you. Pass me the ball. He'd say, tell your man to guard you then. And I'd go up to him, I'd say, Kevin, mine and DJ's man are both on you. He'd say, then I should get 6 points for scoring that. He had a great perspective on the game. And I think that all the players that played with him really learned from him to have fun, to compete when it was time to compete, and to deal with adversities. And I appreciate that, and I appreciate Kevin's friendship and the chance to play with him. It'll be, you know, I get picked on all these teams I play with. Now, Dan Marley just came up with a new statistic that he's keeping track of, and it's called SPDs, and it's stories per day. And every one of those stories I'm telling is about the Boston Celtics, and most of them are about Kevin McHale. Thank you very much.
I was so lucky to have teammates that I really enjoyed. Bill Walton made that 86 season for me.
For a lot of us, you know, Bill Walton was like a guy that we looked at UCLA, the 21 for 22, the Memphis game, just some of the stuff he had done in UCLA and the Bruins, and you know, coming in the 77 series in Portland when, you know, the Trailblazers beat the 76ers. And just some of the stuff he had done, you're like, wow, man, this guy is like a special player. How much does he have left?
You know, with Bill's history, we had no clue. We got off to a pretty good start in training camp. He was pretty healthy, and we was trying to ride the wave.
As special as it was, because being around Bill like that, and actually I hate to even admit this, I had a picture of Bill on my wall. He was my idol growing up, and I hate to even admit that, but he was. So playing with my idol was just fantastic.
The greatest moment of my life on the basketball court took place at Hellenic College in 1986. Forget the championships, forget the parades. We were practicing, and it was one of the few days that Kevin actually got there on time. Maybe KC finally got the point of telling Kevin practice started at 9:30 instead of 10:30. And Kevin and I used to love to play one-on-one before practice. KC at 10:30 blew the whistle, and we were really going at it at the other end and asked us to come on down, let's get started. Well, we totally ignored him, and we're going at it pretty hot and heavy. A couple minutes later, KC really blows the whistle and says, okay, get down here right now. We're going to get started. We're serious. So we drop the ball. We're walking down, and Kevin and I are going at each other pretty good as we're walking down the court. And I'm telling him, you know, Kevin, I'm killing you out here. This is embarrassing. You probably wouldn't even be in the league if you didn't have Larry passing you the ball with all those easy layups. KC said, okay, I've had enough of this. I've listened to you guys moan and complain and whine and boast all season. let's settle this right now. We got the whole team here. Red's here. Red was over there smoking a cigar. But that day, Kevin and I, we decided to have DJ be the ref.
Bill's talking trash again. You know, Bill's telling me that. Oh, and by the way, that game of one-on-one we had, DJ was the worst referee you've ever seen in your life. He was killing me.
I shot for outs. I made it. And I went on and proceeded to kick Kevin McHale's ass all over the court and beat him that day.
Everything I did, he called traveling. I mean, DJ was killing me that day. And Bill did win the game of one-on-one, but it was under protest to this day.
After I hit the game winner in Kevin's face that day and DJ waved it off, called off the jam and said, that's it, Bill's the winner, I took the ball out of the net and tossed it to Casey. I said, Casey, practice is over. We're heading to the bar. It's on me. Casey said, right on, let's go. That's enough. Glenn Ordway talked about my induction into the Hall of Fame. I got thousands of phone calls from around the country, so many of them from the Celtics, the management, the players and all. None meant more to me though than the phone call from Kevin McHale. Called me up and he said, Bill, congratulations, but you know, you never would have made it to the Hall of Fame if you hadn't beaten me that day at Hellenic College. And I said to Kevin, if I couldn't beat you, I don't belong in the Hall of Fame. Kevin McHale.
I remember his first practice with the Celtics, I thought, well, I'm going to kill this guy today. Because he came in late. Went in there about the first 2 or 3 times, he blocked my shot, and I thought, you know, I'm going to give this guy a little bit more respect. I mean, he actually blocked my shot the first 2 times I went in there, and I thought, boy, this guy can play defense. Well, come to find out, he's a great defensive player, but he's a heck of a lot better scorer.
He's the type of guy that you find yourself watching him. You know, what is he going to do next? You know, because he, like I said, he had so many moves around the basket. And then you got to realize Kevin McHale didn't believe in passing the ball back out once he got it. So he's doing these unbelievable moves over 2 and 3 people.
I don't think you can sum up in any amount of time what it's like being a Celtic. I suppose just an immense pride, willingness to do whatever it takes to win, playing hurt, playing when you didn't feel like it, and playing for the best organization that there's ever been. I mean, it's just, Larry said it best. I think he said, if you didn't play for the Celtics, I'm not sure you ever played basketball.
And that was the complete collection of Kevin McHale's greatest stories. Let me know which player you would like to see next. Please be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Here are 2 new videos that you may enjoy.